Okay, start here. If you're someone who relies on, deep, focused work to generate revenue, well, research is showing that excessive screen time directly correlates with attention deficits.
And anxiety, diminished complex decision-making skills.
Exactly.
It really boils down to this fundamental question every professional, frankly, needs to answer.
Right.
Are you letting all that digital chaos steal potentially thousands of dollars in missed opportunities?
Or just poor strategic choices year after year.
Right.
So today we're doing a deep dive into digital minimalism. And look, this isn't about becoming a Luddite or throwing away your phone.
Not at all.
It's really this high-performance framework that successful entrepreneurs are using. They're seeing, get this, 42% higher satisfaction with their work-life balance.
And that 42%, it's not just a feel-good number. The sources we looked at link it directly to things like higher client retention rates.
Better strategic execution, too, especially in those high-pressure sales environments.
Absolutely. Yeah. But if you want that kind of, measurable change, you first have to grasp the core constraint here, the sheer cost of distraction.
The hidden tax.
Yeah, research shows it takes, on average, about 23 minutes to fully regain your focus after just one digital interruption.
23 minutes. Wow.
That 23-minute tax, that's the hidden cost of digital clutter for basically every professional out there. And we need to unpack the why behind that loss.
Okay. So we've synthesized Cal Newport's philosophy and combined it with high-leverage strategies from all the sources you shared with us.
Right.
Our mission today is pretty clear. We want to give you the exact playbook, and that includes the pretty revolutionary 30-day declutter, and so you can reclaim your most valuable and, frankly, finite resource.
Your sustained attention.
Your attention, exactly. Let's unpack the pain point first, because I think this is something everyone feels almost viscerally.
Oh, yeah.
We are losing the battle for attention. Why? Because our engagement with these devices, it's become automatic, right? Not intentional. The data shows we check our phones. Wait for it. 96 times per day, on average.
96. It's staggering when you actually hear the number.
That's not multitasking. That's just cognitive fragmentation.
And that fragmentation, that's precisely where that 23-minute tax kicks in. For anyone listening who's trying to grasp the mechanism, think about it. Your brain isn't just glancing at the screen.
No.
It's performing what they call a context switch. It has to basically pull back all the pieces of that complex task you were focused on, process the new alert, decide if that's urgent, and then somehow try to rebuild the original high-level context you had going.
So those 96 checks, they aren't just like 30-second blips. They're potentially costing you almost an hour of real deep work, even if you put the phone right back down.
Right. The switching cost is immense.
It's like trying to navigate, I don't know, rush hour traffic in a really dense city, right? But you're constantly having to pull over and check a map for every single turn.
Great analogy. You just burn through cognitive fuel trying to reorient yourself constantly.
Yeah.
And that really sets the stakes. I mean, the scientific correlation here is pretty stark. High screen time users, we're talking 7 or more hours daily, are more than twice as likely to experience depression and anxiety compared to low users.
People who limit themselves to maybe an hour a day.
Exactly. So the cost isn't just productivity, it's holistic. It affects your well-being.
Okay, so what's the counter strategy then? It's clearly not just, deleting Facebook for a week.
No, it's about intentionality. And that brings us nicely to the formal definition, which Cal Newport really popularized. Digital minimalism is, well, it's a philosophy of technology use, in which you focus your online time on a small number of carefully selected and optimized activities.
And here's the kicker, and then happily miss out on everything else.
That phrase, happily miss out, that feels key.
It is the critical mindset shift. It reframes the whole decision. Instead of thinking, oh no, what am I losing by not checking that feed? You start thinking, what incredible value am I gaining by staying intensely focused on what actually matters? Right. Shifting from scarcity to value.
Precisely.
Okay, so if happily missing out is the attitude, then these 3 philosophical pillars we pulled from the sources, they're like the structure, right? The framework to actually make it happen.
Exactly. This is how you shift the power dynamic. Away from the platform's defaults, the things designed to keep you hooked, and back towards your specific objectives.
Got it. So pillar 1.
Pillar 1. Clutter is costly. The truly successful professional, they understand that every single extra app, every low-value notification ping, it's all competing for your very limited mental bandwidth.
It's finite.
It is. And the sources are really clear on this. Learning to say no to digital tools is often way more important than saying yes.
Why is that?
because the negative impact of that constant fragmentation, it just outweighs the small individual benefits of most tools.
Okay, that makes sense. Clutter is costly. Pillar 2.
Pillar 2, optimization is important. Look, it's not enough to just use a tool. You absolutely must tailor that tool to fit your specific needs, your goals.
So tweaking the settings.
Yes. Customizing your phone settings, turning off those annoying notification badges, maybe hiding distracting apps and folders way off the home screen.
Making the tech work for you, not the other way around.
Exactly. Make the environment serve your sales objectives, rather than just accepting the default settings that, let's be honest, mostly benefit the tech company that built the app.
Right. Okay, and the third pillar.
Pillar 3. Intentionality is satisfying. This is all about that feeling of reclaiming control. When your tech use is deliberate, when you consciously choose which platform to use and for how long, you just feel fundamentally more productive.
And fulfilled, I imagine.
Absolutely. That internal sense of mastery, of being in the driver's seat, that's the ultimate reward, really.
Okay, so that intentionality, that's the fuel then for the next big piece, the 30-day digital declutter.
Yes, this is where the rubber meets the road. It's the practical implementation that takes the theory we just discussed and turns it into real-world, hopefully revenue-generating productivity.
And you have to treat it seriously, right? Like an experiment.
Definitely. Like a highly structured entrepreneurial experiment. We break it down into 3 distinct, necessary phases. Phase 1, the audit. This takes up days 1 through 3.
And this is a deep look.
Comprehensive. You look at your entire digital life, every app, every website you frequent, every subscription.
And there's a test.
There's a litmus test question. It's simple, but it can be brutal. Does this directly and critically contribute to my revenue goals or my core business activities?
Critically, that's the key word.
It is. Because if the answer is no, or even maybe, it gets deleted. Or at least access is significantly restricted. No halfway measures here.
Okay, audit first. Then what?
Then comes phase 2, days 4 through 23. This is the tough part, but it's necessary. The detox.
Sounds intense.
It is. You dramatically, radically reduce your technology use. You keep only the absolute essential business tools.
Like what?
The things required for client transactions, direct revenue generation. Maybe your CRM, core communication platforms you need for clients.
Right.
And crucially, during this phase, remove social media apps entirely from your phone. Turn off all non-essential notifications. Silence the noise.
All right, let's pause there. Phase 2. Removing social media apps for, what, 20 days?
Yep.
Okay, but for a lot of high-value professionals listening, LinkedIn, maybe even X or others, is part of their business. Content pipeline, client acquisition. How do you square that circle? The need for essential business connectivity versus total removal?
That's a really important question and a necessary challenge to address. The goal of the detox phase isn't necessarily to cut off business functions. It's to break the addictive behavior, the compulsive checking.
Ah, okay.
So we reconcile this by enforcing a strict rule. If a platform is genuinely essential for business, it must only be accessible via a high-friction device, meaning your desktop or laptop computer, and only at specific pre-scheduled times during the day. You're deliberately disconnecting the habit, trigger your mobile phone from the necessary function.
Okay, that distinction makes the detox feel much more achievable, actually. Breaking the habit, not necessarily the function.
Exactly. And then comes phase 3, intentional reintroduction. That's days 24 through 30. Now, you are the master, not the tech.
You're in control.
You reintroduce tools, but only with specific, strict rules that you define based on your values, your business objectives, and you enforce that high-friction environment you started building in the detox.
So you don't just slide back.
Precisely. This structured reintroduction is what prevents that quick slide back into old, unproductive habits. It establishes sustainable boundaries. But, the really successful entrepreneurs, they don't just stop with the declutter.
There's more.
Oh, yeah. They have this sort of secret toolkit of micro-strategies, little things that ensure that focus is maintained over the long haul.
Okay, give us one. What's in the toolkit?
Let's start with a simple, really memorable one. It's called the 20-20-20 rule. Heard of it?
Vaguely. Remind me. Super simple. Every 20 minutes you're working intently, especially on a screen, you look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds.
Okay. Reduces eye strain, right?
It does. But the real value isn't just your eyes. It's about building in these tiny micro pauses that prevent cognitive fatigue.
Keeps your brain fresh.
Exactly. Ensures your thinking on complex client solutions stays sharp, stays high quality throughout the day.
I like that. Simple, actionable. What else?
Then there's morning digital hygiene. This might be the single highest value activity you can implement.
Okay.
Start every day with 60 to 90 minutes of screen-free time.
An hour to an hour and a half. Wow. What do you do?
Research shows using this protected time for strategic thinking, for planning, it significantly improves your decision-making capabilities for the entire day.
Okay, but if that 60 to 90 minutes is for strategic thinking,
Yeah.
what does that actually look like? For someone listening, should they be journaling, planning, mapping out their sales pipeline? What's the activity?
Good question. It needs to be a cognitively demanding task, but importantly, a non-digital one.
So high performers, they use this window for things like journaling their highest leverage activities for the day, or maybe identifying their top 3 strategic goals,
Right.
or even physically mapping out complex client solutions or project plans on paper. The key is you're setting your agenda for the day before the external world. The emails, the alerts can hijack your focus.
Setting your intention before the noise comes in. I like that.
Precisely. And one more big one, communication management.
Email hell. Slack spirals.
Exactly. Stop the constant checking. We strongly advocate for batch processing.
Meaning.
Designate 2, maybe 3 specific blocks of time throughout your day. And only during those blocks do you handle all your digital communication. Email, Slack, messages, everything.
Turn it off otherwise.
Turn off the notifications, close the tabs. This isn't just about time management, you know. It's about minimizing that cognitive switching cost we talked about earlier.
The 23-minute tax again.
Yep. That constant switching robs you of your most focused, productive hours. By batching your communication, you ensure your brain can work in sustained, deep sprints on the tasks that actually generate revenue.
Instead of flitting between 10 different conversation threads.
You got
And
it.
the ROI on this stuff, is it real?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
If we connect this back to the bigger picture, intervention studies are showing that companies actually implementing these kinds of high-focus wellness programs, which often include digital minimalism principles, they report 15 to 25% increases in employee productivity.
15 to 25%, that's huge.
It is. The effort genuinely pays for itself, and pretty quickly.
Okay, so let's recap the core gains here for the listener. You're moving towards what? Enhanced sustained focus.
Right, which lets you tackle complex projects without constant distraction.
Better relationships, too, you mentioned, because you're actually present.
Definitely. More present with clients, colleagues, family, and ultimately, you achieve that greater life satisfaction that's consistently linked to living more intentionally.
But there's always a but, isn't there? The shadow hanging over all of this. FOMO. Fear of missing out. How do we get past that deep psychological need to just check?
Yeah, FOMO is real, but the sources tackle this head on. The reframe is this. You're not actually missing out. You're actively opting in.
Opting into what?
To a better quality of life and work. The research, the anecdotes, they confirm that people who practice digital minimalism consistently report greater life satisfaction. Why?
Why?
Precisely because they are deeply engaged in what is meaningful to them. Rather than being constantly distracted by what is shallow or urgent but not important or just low-value noise on the periphery, you trade shallow connection for deep engagement.
Deep engagement. So what's the final takeaway here? What does this all mean?
I think it means that the biggest competitive advantage you have today, it isn't some fancy new software or the latest AI tool or some platform. No, it's your ability to focus deeply, to think strategically. And that ability is being eroded, chipped away every single time you let an alert, a notification, win the battle for your attention.
Wow. Okay. Powerful stuff.
So we really encourage you, everyone listening, take one concrete step, something low effort, start small. Tonight, maybe commit to just turning off all the non-essential notifications on your main phone.
Just try it for a night.
Or tomorrow morning, commit to that 60 minutes, maybe just 30, to start of screen-free time for that strategic thinking. Start small, but the key is to start now.
Every insight gets deeper on the second listen, so make sure you save this episode in your library.
And don't miss out on what's coming up next.
Yeah, next time we are diving into the, frankly, surprising financial habits of high net worth individuals. And specifically, why the one thing they consistently refuse to spend money on is likely the thing you spend the most on every single month. You do not want to miss that deep dive.